How's it going, everybody? This is Siri here, and today we're going over my defenses and other options that you could use for Season 14 of Cosmic Crucible. Now, before I get into that, I do want to give a quick announcement. I ended up doing a giveaway on Friday to where I gave away a Vigilante character, and I actually gave away two, and I ended up doing a marbles run from a giveaway video that I did previously. Now, I do plan to do future giveaways, so make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. That way you don't end up missing out. So I want to give a quick shout out to Patrick and Duster, who are both of my winners. At the end of this video, I'm going to end up having the marbles run, so you kind of watch that in its kind of shortened down entirety, if that makes any sense. Now, as far as the defenses goes for this season, I do want to mention that there were changes to where it's not going to be as interesting. So what we have here was changes to Season 14 of Cosmic Crucible. They end up removing stages 1 of Glass Cannon and 4 of Take a Moment, to where we could have had a very interesting Season 14 of Cosmic Crucible, and it's probably due to some performance issues of Starjammers, and they want to make sure Starjammers kind of shines. So I'm hoping maybe next season we can get these two rooms back. Knock on wood, I don't know if it's going to happen, but they were very interesting rooms, especially with the rooms that we currently have, to where we had maybe one or two non-interesting rooms, and now this is going to turn into more of an offensive heavy meta, I think, for this season. I know some people care about that. I do like to have options to where you can kind of really turtle hard or go offensive, and you're going to kind of see the rooms that we end up going over, the defenses, and how I don't think there's going to be too much of a turtle heavy because of the teams we currently have. So let's go ahead and take a look at the teams and defenses that I plan to end up using. So for stage 1, we have Hunting Sense. Now, we end up having this one back on last season, and it really wasn't that impactful. I do plan to try to take advantage of this a little bit, though. So on defense and offense, striker characters on a successful attack will be applying bleed. Raider and skirmisher on a successful attack, if the target has bleed, performs an ISO attack. So basically your raiders and skirmishers can kind of do an ISO attack on their own. What I plan to use here is a broken up Illuminati. Now we have the 3-piece where we have Black Bolt, we have Black Panther Shuri, Hank Pym, we have Sasquatch in here as a pre-taunt, and I have Super Scroll in here just to throw a little curveball in. Because of the other rooms that we end up having and the teams we have on offense, I plan to use Captain Britain either elsewhere or on offense, because if we do keep that Odinati team, every room in here could be countered by Starjammers, which means that they can end up using a Mephisto elsewhere. They could end up using a Phoenix Force elsewhere with Black Knight, and ways to really counter, which is why this season's going to be a little boring in my opinion. Now, other teams that you can end up putting in here are going to be the Mephisto Illuminati with the pre-taunt. This did pretty well last season when this was in here, and considering most people have null on the defensive side with Odin, that definitely could end up being an option. The Phoenix Force could still go in there and take over that. However, that is pulling the Phoenix Force away from another room. Another option I was thinking you could end up going with is an Orcus with Super Scroll. That could be a fairly interesting tool that you could throw in here, or you could just go with the Wanda's Revenge team. So those are kind of the 4 options I think could end up working in here. Stage 2, we had this one on a U32, not this past season, but the season before. And due to the nature of the U32, you could really throw a lot of things in here. In that first week, it ended up really making a difference. It could do something on this season. Again, we have Starjammers, we have Phoenix Force, we have a lot of new characters that could go in here. You want to use new characters in here because of the power of that 100% extra damage. So you're going to be gaining a 50% max barrier on spawn. Bury yourself 100% that character's max health. So typically you have a 30% max barrier of your health. This is going to raise it up to an 80%. And then if you put Fortifier on, that could get you another, I believe, 10%, making you at 90% barrier. And you're going to get that full barrier on spawn. You're also going to get that 100% extra damage, which is why you want to use the new characters in here. Anything post Ares could do very well in here. On an ally death, bury yourself for 100% that character's max health as well. This right here could be hard countered by the Starjammers team because of the way Havoc works, to where they really play into the barrier. They lower that max barrier. They do pings if the character has barrier as well. So Starjammers, you want to throw something in here that's going to pull something big, but not the Starjammers. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of efficiency on here. So what I plan to use is actually Liberty, and I'm throwing Thanos Endgame in here. The reason being is Thanos Endgame is going to get the extra 100% max damage. So if he ends up getting pushed, he's going to rain fire on everybody, and it could still wipe everybody out. The Liberty team is a very sustainable team. They end up getting that speed up as soon as your opponent takes a turn. They do some pretty good damage as well in here. This shouldn't be pulling a Starjammers. If it does, I'm going to count that as a win because of what I have in other rooms. If they try to end up using the Immortal X-Men, they have to punch through that barrier as well, and that's going to give it a very good chance that Thanos is going to end up getting pushed and it could end up wiping the enemy team. So that's my thought process behind the Liberty with Thanos in here. Now, other options that you could end up doing, Night Stalkers with Kahori could be very interesting. If they end up trying to use Immortal X-Men, that would still end up stopping Kahori. However, they have to deal with the Night Stalkers in here. If they end up trying to throw Cabal in here, that's not going to end up stopping the Kahori. So I think she could be an interesting curveball they could throw in here. If you don't want to use that, you can end up going with a Night Stalkers with the new Emma Frost to try to stop any of the speed. That way, if they do try to throw Starjammers in there, that's going to end up stopping the speed from Starjammers and hopefully giving Night Stalkers a chance in there. Now, if you want, you could also throw Starjammers in here on defense because the opponent's going to have that barrier as well. That is going to end up causing the mirror matchup if your opponent has Starjammers on offense. That's not a terrible thing to end up happening to you, though. So I think that could be some pretty interesting options that could end up going into stage 2. Now, stage 3 is Toxic. This one here is a very interesting one. This was in the U32, and I think we could end up playing around with this room a little bit later on. I'm treating this basically as an efficiency sync room. So on defense and offense, all characters on that character's turn attack self for 15% of that character's max health. This damage reduces the max health of that character by the same amount. I'm just going to end up using the Wanda's Revenge in here. I think that's one of the more realistic defenses that we could end up throwing in here. It's a very taxing room to where it's going to take a lot of turns to try to get rid of them. If they play it incorrectly, things could go sideways. They keep getting hit with the pings as well. So that's kind of what I'm playing around with on here. Now, other options that could end up going in here is different variants of the Wanda's Revenge, where you could end up throwing Agatha in here. That is going to take Agatha away from your Night Stalkers if you could end up kind of taking that away from them and still being okay. Throwing a Black Knight in here, that could be very interesting as well because those retaliates, chunking away your opponent's health. They get the trauma, they get the bleeds, the heal block. That could be very dangerous in stage 3 in here. I just plan to use Black Knight elsewhere. Little spoiler as far as that goes. Initially, when we had the stage 1 and stage 4, I was planning to use Liberty in stage 3 with the Elektra. The reason for that is because the opponent's going to take the first turn. The speed up ends up coming across. Elektra now has the skill tag on there for Captain Sam to really boost up her speed. She's going to spawn in as stealth, so that way it's going to break up any of the attacks that end up happening. And then when she gets a turn, she does the ultimate. If she gets the kill, she gets the 80% turn meter. Then she pops right back into her special to go back in stealth. That could be very dangerous in 3. However, as you see, I end up putting Liberty with Thanos Endgame in stage 2. So that was a little monkey wrench that ended up happening because of the room rules. I think that could be a very interesting team if you end up putting that in stage 3. The opponent would probably still end up doing something like a Superior 6 type of combo to try to get rid of that. But I'm still kind of curious how they would end up going. Now for stage 4, I didn't really have any other options in here because this is kind of a dull room if you ask me. I think there could be other plays on here, which we'll end up talking about. I don't have any saved squads for it, but it's just something I was kind of thinking about right before I recorded this video. So Supercharged, all characters on offense and defense. After using an ultimate, spread all positive effects to your adjacent allies. Ultimates cost 2 less. I'm going to end up just going with a Orcus with the old school Emma in here. The reason being is the turn order should end up being Scientist Supreme ults. That's going to spread everything to Nimrod and to Lady Deathstrike. If they try coming in with Night Stalkers, there's that coin flip between Lady Deathstrike and from the Night Stalkers team as far as Blade, if he ends up getting the speed up type of thing on there. And then Lady Deathstrike's going to use the ultimate as opposed to the special, so no turn meter rewind. But that ultimate does devastating damage. That's going to spread those positive effects to Scientist Supreme and Sentinel. Then it will be Nimrod spreading to Scientist Supreme, and then Sentinel kind of going, unless they end up coming in with like a Kestrel type of variant. And having it to where all those positive effects keep getting spread out, the bots that's out on the field, they'll start getting a lot of those positive effects as well. I think things could go sideways fairly quick with the Orcus team. Now, the Immortal X-Men can probably still come in here. However, had the old Emma, which could end up throwing that curveball in there and kind of making things go a little bit sideways for my opponent. Other options that you could end up doing in here, I think an Astral team could be good in here. However, I think Astral is going to be pretty important on offense. We'll have to see how things start to unwind, but having it to where the Astral team and they're throwing in certain mixes of the Astral team, that could make this very dangerous. If you do like an Astral with like a Spider-Man Noir is going to ult very quickly. That's going to end up giving that turn meter to the Shadow King, and then the other characters start going. You could really throw off turn orders by doing like a Astral with a Spider-Man Noir and maybe some other characters in here. I need to see if I need to use Astral for offense. That could be something where I might throw this in the stage 4 later on, though. For stage 5, this is a fairly boring room for now. The reason I say for now is because we have Professor X coming next week. So we're going to have 1 week of Overpowered. Then we're going to have going into Professor X, where if you're at the top end of Cosmic Crucible, we're going to start seeing Professor X probably in stage 5 would be my guess. So Mutant Immune System. On defense and offense, mutant characters. On turn, clear all negative effects from self. Heal self for 10% of max health for each negative effect cleared. This right here kind of gets missed. I know I initially kind of missed this because I thought this was part of the mutant characters as well. All characters on turn end gain defense down. So what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to use my remaining Annihilators characters. Spoiler, there's no gore in here. And then I'm throwing in Rogue and Gambit in here. So what I'm envisioning in this room is normally Cabal takes out the X-Men characters. I'm going to end up using my remaining Annihilators to stop any of the vulnerables from coming in. Rogue and Gambit can take advantage of getting those buff clears. And the Annihilators themselves, they pretty resilient to where they could have like Gladiator having the immunity on there. He can clear negative effects. So I think that could be very interesting. Silver Surfer's in here to kind of shoot the defense down back and start taking positive effects. And then if they come in with like any sort of taunt in there, we have Ultimus. So I think this could be very interesting. It's just a little curveball that I want to throw in here because the other options is just those Extreme X-Men Rogue, throw Bishop in there type of deal as well. It's nothing really interesting, and it kind of gets walked over by the Cabal team. So I wanted to try to move away from that and still play into the healing of the mutant characters and the defense down on the opponent. I think if you end up going with like a Wanda's Revenge in here, that could end up doing something. That way Scarlet Witch, the Vision, Invisible Woman are also hitting into the defense down. Just another thought as far as that goes. Now for stage 6, I don't really have any other options in here, and you're going to kind of see why. I think this is going to be a very standard defense that we're going to end up running later on in the season as things start winding down. So Spider-Man's Web Trap. This right here is probably the most important room now because of the changes that happened to stage 1 and 4. This is Dorky Dad's room. So on defense and offense, all characters' speed bar cannot be increased or decreased. So you can't do anything where you're going to be gaining turn meter like Old Man Logan or turn meter rewinds like Lady Deathstrike or Blade. That's not going to work. Characters with speed up gain a negative 50% speed. characters with slow gain a plus 50% speed. Basically, speed up and slows not going to have any impact in here on this. Initially, when I read this, I was thinking that they have the opposite effects, but that would mean that you'd have to have like the 100% speed up or negative speed type of thing. So what I end up putting in here is going to be Black Knight. So I have that pre-taunt in there for retaliates, Null and Gore. So that way Gore is going to be giving that extra speed to Null. Sorry, had a brain fart there. Null's also going to be having an extra assist chance because he gains assist chances for villain allies and symbiote allies. So that's going to end up giving him about an 80% assist chance in here. I have the new Emma in here. That's going to end up shutting down if they try to come in here with Star Jammers. Now, there was a lot of questions about the new Emma. Is she fixed? On the defensive side of things, when I was talking over in Old Timey's channel, Pat and I was kind of talking back and forth. On the offense, she was shutting down the speed of her allies on offense. On defense, it looks like she is working properly. So if your opponent comes in with like a Emma, that could end up still stopping the speed. However, that's going to stop their ally speed stat as well. So she's still a little broken. I did report this. Hopefully this could get fixed in time. And then I have Odin in here. So Gore or Null and Odin still a very powerhouse of a character. You see I do have a G20 Odin. So I will be keeping him as a raider due to the basically overpowered status in here. I think this is going to be a very dangerous team in here. If you want, you can take Black Knight out, throw in like a Kingpin, Zombie Juggernaut, Sasquatch, some other pre-taunt. I just wanted to lean really heavily into this by putting Black Knight in here to really punish my opponent. Try to make them maybe sack it, then try to go in and see what happens. But if you end up setting that Odin up in a bad position, you're going to have a very bad time in here. So other options I was kind of considering in here was throwing like an Old Man Logan over the Emma Frost X-Men. That would make it to where there's going to be a lot of assists going on between Odin, Old Man Logan, and Null. That could be very interesting. Old Man Logan's not going to be good getting the turn meter though, so you do have to take that into account. I wanted to get the new Emma in here so that way it stops Star Jammers. That way if they try to use Star Jammers in here, it should hopefully fail. I don't think they gave them enough of rework for that to end up happening. So they'd end up having to use Star Jammers in one of these other rooms. If they have Mephisto, they'd have to use Mephisto elsewhere. So I'm trying to trick them a little bit. But again, we have so many things on offense. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I have for the offensive side based on this. So I do have Mephisto, I have Kahori, I have Night Stalkers, I have Phoenix Force, I have my Astral team, I have my Immortal X-Men, and from there, it kind of goes into the Cabal team. I also have Captain Britain for the offensive side. I have Apocalypse right here. So I have a lot of things for offense, but having it to where I have Captain Britain on offense is a very powerful weapon in case I end up running across the stage 1. I could use my own Captain Britain into there. Then I can use Immortal X-Men elsewhere. I could use Cabal elsewhere. It really flexes me out to where I should be pretty set for the offensive and defense. But hopefully this kind of gives you some ideas for what you could end up be doing for the season of Cosmic Crucible. I know it's not going to be as interesting, but again, we have Professor X coming. That's going to shake things up. That's probably going to make it to where Professor X is going in stage 5. Or we make a powerhouse team and maybe throw Professor X in the stage 6 that we have over here. Let me know what you guys think as far as the defense, the offense, the season. Make sure you stay for the end of the video. There's going to be that marbles run for the giveaway as well. If you guys did enjoy this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day. How's it going, everybody? This is Seer here. We are doing our giveaway on stream right now. Looks like we have about 367 people that's entered into this. Let's go ahead and hit finish. This is everybody that ended up commenting on the YouTube video for the giveaway. The winner is going to end up getting a free Vigilante character. I'm going to reach out to them. We're going to make sure we get this to happen for them. Daredevil's offers for the initial offers are about to end, so most likely it's going to be like a Silver Sable or a Hit Monkey, unless they really want Daredevil Modern. So let's go ahead and hit start and see who the winner is going to end up being. And we're off down the races. We got some Plinko stuff going on right now. This is a mad dash. Look at all these marbles we got going on. Looks like Diego is currently in the lead right now. And we got some cannon blasting. Oh my god, the horror. So many people are dying. So many people. Oh, Patrick. Holy crap. How did you get way up here, man? Patrick. Are you going to end up getting the lead and the win? Or people falling off? Oh, the horror. The horror. So many people going. All right, Patrick's going down. We have Microslav. Patrick's about to hit another cannon. He's going to end up whiffing this. This is for the finish. Patrick, you slaughtered everybody. They did not have a chance. Is Patrick in chat right now? Call hacks. I don't know what Patrick did, but that was crazy. He was just in the lead out of nowhere. Yeah, no contest for sure. Patrick really wanted that. Oh, more people falling off. Oh my god. The race is over. Stop killing yourselves. We still have 90 people in here. Who wants another character? Yeah? Okay. So this one here is going to be people in chat. The reason I want to do this is because you guys were so awesome. That video got me 250 subscribers, and I got close to 2750. I'm at 2660 right now, so it got me about 300. So let's do another one. Yep, was a little surprise. I wanted to definitely help you guys out. I'll try to do something like this every few months, like when I hit milestones and stuff. Let's go ahead and see who wins this one. All right, we got 41 people in this one. Let's see how this one goes. The big drop happens. People's already falling off. Oh my god, so many people died already. Royalty right now in the lead. See if Royalty can get past the sticks. It's like people about to enter the tube. There they go. I don't know why the names aren't showing on top of the balls, but that's fine. All right, we got Royalty in second. We got Karma in first. Kyle in third. Violent Mind in fourth right now. More people falling off. Oh, Kyle died. You killed Kyle. Karma died. All right, so Par's right now in first. It's like you guys need to swing back. Mirazach in first. Par's in second. Rumba God in third. All right, here comes the finish. Rumba God. You need to make it inside the hole? What's going on here? What's going on here? I'm confused. Oh, Duster got first. You had to get shot up. Is that what had? Duster? I'm confused. What needs to happen here? Okay, you need to get shot up off the thing to win. So Duster got first.